Right now, a highly publicized trial in Massachusetts has forced an uncomfortable conversation about motherhood. A mother is accused of killing her 3 children. Her defense argues that she was experiencing severe mental illness, including postpartum psychosis. Prosecutors have presented a very different account. I'm not here to tell you which side is right. That's for a jury. I'm interested in something else. Why has this case made so many women think about a problem that has almost nothing to do with murder? The pressure to be okay, to cope, to be grateful, to love motherhood, to be patient, to be present, and somehow, while doing all of that, to still look like you're doing beautifully. Because somewhere along the way, we created an image of the perfect woman, and then we made her a mother, the perfect mother. But here's the strange part. We didn't invent her. She's been haunting women for centuries. She's beautiful, but not vain. Nurturing, but not consumed by motherhood. Successful, but never too ambitious. Sexy, but respectable. Independent, but never so independent that she doesn't need anyone. She's calm, she's organized, she's healthy, she's grateful. And, somehow, she always looks like she got enough sleep. The beauty standard was never really just about your face. It was about whether your entire life looked right. And motherhood makes that standard even harder to meet. We're told motherhood is the most natural thing in the world. Natural, instinctive, beautiful. And yet women are given an extraordinary list of instructions for how to do it correctly. How to feed the baby, how to get the baby to sleep, how to manage the house, how to return to work, how to maintain your relationship, how to exercise, how to eat, how to recover. And somewhere in the middle of all this advice is another message, one that isn't always spoken out loud. Don't let yourself go. Your body has changed, get it back. Your stomach looks different, flatten it. Your skin looks tired, fix it. Your hair has changed, fix that too. You have had a baby, but you're still supposed to look like the woman you were before the baby, preferably very soon. We even gave this expectation a cheerful little phrase. Bounce back, as if childbirth were a minor interruption. As if your body had simply taken a temporary detour and should now return to its previous condition as quickly as possible. And then, social media arrived. Now the perfect mother doesn't just exist in magazines. She lives in your phone. She's standing in a spotless kitchen. Her children are beautifully dressed. Breakfast is nutritious. The nursery is beautiful. Her hair looks perfect. Her body appears to have recovered effortlessly. And she's smiling, always smiling. But here's the important part. None of those photographs necessarily have to be fake. The problem is what happens when we see thousands of photographs showing only the moments worth photographing. We don't see the kitchen 5 minutes before the picture. We don't see the argument, the exhaustion, the loneliness, the moment when a mother closes the bathroom door just to have 30 seconds alone. Those moments don't fit the picture, and this is where something really strange happens. The more effortless motherhood is supposed to look, the more work women have to hide. Think about that phrase, effortless. It sounds like a compliment. She makes it look effortless. She has it all together. She looks amazing. But how much effort went into making it look effortless? And this isn't only about mothers. You don't have to have children to know this feeling. A woman can be exhausted. She can be grieving. She can be overwhelmed. She can be struggling financially. She can be unhappy in her relationship. She can be uncertain about her career. She can look at her body and not recognize it. She can wake up one morning and think, I don't know what I'm doing, and still feel that she needs to look fine. Women have become extraordinarily good at looking okay. But looking okay isn't the same thing as being okay. And perhaps that's one reason the Lindsay Clancy case has touched such a raw nerve. Not because most women recognize her story. They don't. The circumstances are extraordinary, but many women recognize something much smaller, much more ordinary. The feeling that you're supposed to be coping, that you're supposed to know what you're doing, that everyone else seems to be managing. So why aren't you? What happens when a woman finally says, "I don't love motherhood every minute. I'm struggling. I'm angry. I'm exhausted. I don't recognize myself anymore. I need help." Sometimes she gets understanding, but sometimes she gets advice. Try yoga, get some sleep, go for a walk, eat better, exercise. Take some time for yourself. Some of that advice may be perfectly sensible, but there's a difference between helping a woman and telling her how to become better at hiding that she's struggling. And that's where this story becomes bigger than motherhood. Because women have been rewarded for being composed for a very long time. The beautiful woman doesn't sweat. She doesn't rage. She doesn't appear exhausted. She doesn't lose control. She certainly doesn't make other people uncomfortable with the reality of what she's feeling. She's pleasant. She's presentable. She's in control. And when she becomes a mother, the expectations multiply. Now she's supposed to create a happy home while remaining attractive enough to be desirable. She's supposed to sacrifice herself while somehow maintaining a sense of self. She's supposed to put her children first without disappearing completely into motherhood. She's supposed to work, but not neglect her family. Stay home, but not lose her independence. Look after everyone else, but remember to look after herself. It's an impossible balancing act, and when a woman struggles to do all of it, the failure is often made to feel personal. Maybe she isn't organized enough. Maybe she isn't exercising enough. Maybe she isn't eating properly. Maybe she's spending too much time online. Maybe she simply isn't coping as well as other women. But what if the problem isn't that women are failing the standard? What if the standard itself is impossible? Because this is where the beauty industry enters the story. The beauty industry didn't invent our desire to be accepted. It learned how to sell products to it. Clearer skin, a smaller waist, a younger face, a better body, and increasingly, a more beautiful version of motherhood. The message is remarkably consistent. Something about you isn't quite right. But don't worry, there's a solution. A cream, a treatment, a workout, a supplement, a course, a new routine, a new body, a new version of yourself. It's an incredibly effective idea. Take a complicated human problem and turn it into a personal project. If you're exhausted, optimize your morning routine. If you're unhappy, practice gratitude. If your body has changed, work harder. If motherhood is overwhelming, organize your life better. If you're struggling, fix yourself. And if you still can't manage it, try harder. That's the trap. The problem isn't simply that women are being told to look beautiful. It's that we're increasingly being told that every part of our lives should look beautiful. Your body, your home, your children, your career, your relationship, your motherhood. Even your recovery from difficult experiences. Everything becomes something to curate, something to improve, something to display. And when the finished picture looks effortless, we forget that somebody had to do all the work. We've created a culture where asking for help can feel like admitting failure. And for women who have been taught their entire lives to be competent, attractive, nurturing, and composed, failure can feel unbearable. Not because women are weak, because we've attached so much meaning to being the woman who can handle everything. But here's what I think we need to question. Why do we assume that a woman who is struggling has failed? Why don't we ask whether we've given her an impossible job? Because somewhere along the way, being a good woman became almost indistinguishable from being good at everything. Good mother, good partner, good employee. Good daughter, good friend, healthy woman, beautiful woman, calm woman, successful woman, and ideally, all of those things at the same time. That's not a woman, that's a fantasy. And the fantasy is profitable, because if perfection is always just slightly out of reach, there is always something else to buy. Something else to fix, something else to improve, something else to become. The lie is that perfection is achievable if you just try hard enough. That somewhere out there is a woman who has figured it all out. But she doesn't exist. But we keep looking for her. We compare ourselves to her. We buy things to become her, and sometimes we punish ourselves because we aren't her. Whatever the jury ultimately decides in the Lindsay Clancy case, one trial cannot answer the larger question. How many women are suffering quietly because they believe they're supposed to be coping beautifully? How many mothers look at carefully curated images of other mothers and wonder why everyone else seems to be doing motherhood better? How many women are afraid to say, "I'm not okay," because they've spent their entire lives learning that being a good woman means handling everything? We don't need another perfect woman to aspire to. We need permission to be human. A woman doesn't have to look calm to be a good woman. She doesn't have to look beautiful to be worthy. Motherhood doesn't have to look effortless. Struggling isn't failure, and asking for help isn't weakness. Maybe we've spent enough time teaching women how to hide the parts of themselves that don't fit the picture. Maybe we can start doing something different. Not chasing the perfect mother, not trying to become the woman who never struggles, but making room for women to say, "This is hard," without shame. Because we've spent centuries teaching women how to look perfect, perhaps it's time we stopped asking them to. And if this is a conversation you recognize, tell me in the comments. What does the perfect woman look like in your world? And what expectation are you tired of trying to meet? I read the comments because that's where these conversations become bigger than one story. If you want more documentaries exploring the beauty standards women inherit, where they came from, and who benefits when we believe we're not enough, subscribe to The Beauty Lie. Because there's always another standard hiding behind the one we've just learned to accept. And the next time someone tells you that you're simply not trying hard enough to become the woman you're supposed to be, remember this. The real beauty lie was never that women weren't beautiful enough. It was that they were supposed to be perfect at all.